Shabbos lechu v'nei lechu Hi v'koira v'rocho Ailerai v'roish mikedem nesucho Soif maze b'machshovot chilo V'chad doidi likras kalo V'nei Shabbos ne'kalelo
Shavua Tov to everyone. I am so sorry for my radio silence. I got back to Israel Monday night and I got very sick, more sick than I've ever remember being before. But thank God, no fever today, and I'm happy to return to you and to pick up exactly where we left off, and I'm sorry to keep you waiting. And that is saying Veshamru or not saying Veshamru, take two. And today, the specific opposition. Shabbos is introduced in the Torah in two different ways, and let's just put it in the context of the Kiddush. Number one, Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit, to remember that God created the world. That's the reason in the Aseret HaDibrot and Parshat Yitro that we just read, why we keep Shabbos, because Kisheshet Yamim Asa Hashem et HaShamayim v'et ha'aretz, for 6 days God created the world, and indeed on Shabbos he rested. But there's another reason. In the Aseret HaDibrot, in Sefer Devarim, it doesn't say that you keep Shabbos because God created the world way back when, but rather to remember V'zacharta ki eved hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim ve'yivtecha Hashem Elokecha misham. You used to be a slave, you're not a slave, so it's Zecher L'Yetziat Mitzrayim. In a word, let's call the first one global. God created the entire world for all of humanity. And the second, more Jewish, namely God took us, the Jewish people, out of Egypt. From this perspective, come along many and say, well, Friday night is a Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit night. The proof text in the silent Amida is Vayechulu Hashamayim ve'ha'aretz b'chol tzva'am, which is the end of Bereshit Perek Aleph, beginning of Bereshit Perek Bet. Namely, God created the world, and this is the concluding statement of the creation of the world. That's exactly what Friday night is all about. Friday night is Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshis. In the Me'ein Sheva, after the silent Amida, it says explicitly, Uminiach b'kedusha la'amedu shnei oneg, you allow your Jewish people with sanctity, you leave them alone, because they will be filled with the enjoyment of Shabbos. Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshis. From this perspective, there's no room on Friday night to say Veshamru, because Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat make Shabbos very Jewish. It doesn't talk about the creation of the world, which was for the entire world, but rather talks about the more Jewish Shabbos. And therefore, there's no place for Veshamru on Friday night. Taking it a step further, this will explain why Shabbos morning, many people will omit from their Amidas, both Shachris and Musaf, the words Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshis, because Shabbos morning starts with Yismach Moshe b'matnat Chilko, talks about Mamad Har Sinai, in which we got the 2 luchot, and in them it says that we should keep Shabbos, and the proof text is Veshamru. Since that's the proof text, Musaf talks about the korbanot that the Jewish people bring. From this perspective, many people omit the words Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshis on Shabbos morning. Rav Soloveitchik omitted it, and I heard from Rav Tzvi Weinberg, the former executive vice president of the OU, that indeed he was davening in one of my favorite shuls, the Bayana Shtibel. The Bayana Shtibel is on the west side of Manhattan. He was once davening there on Shabbos, and he said the word Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshis, that's is written in every siddur, and the people were aghast. To make a long story short, that's the opposition to Veshamru Friday night. Friday night, it's a night global, Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshis. Shabbos morning is a Veshamru kind of a thing, a Jewish thing. So what's the justification to say it anyway? I think the justification to say it anyway is that with the greatest respected being global at the end of the day for the people that keep Shabbos, the Jewish people. And therefore, since it's the Jewish people that keep Shabbos, we mention it. This will explain why in the Kiddush we have a line that some omit for the same reason. It's supposed to be global, 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 but you can't get away from it. The famous song that almost everyone sings, Kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta. You have sanctified us, you have chosen us. That seems to be a throw out to the Jewish Shabbos, and to be more precise, to the Yontiv kind of a Kiddush. So therefore some people omit it, in some benches you'll find it in parentheses, but at the end of the day, most people say it, most people sing it. And therefore, it's very hard to say that indeed Friday night is totally and utterly global. At the end of the day, who are the ones that are keeping Shabbos, if not the Jewish people themselves? And therefore, I think the common custom is, in almost every shul I've been in, is to say Veshamru. Unless you're really Minhag Agra, unless you're really Minhag Chabad, most people indeed take this opposition and say, with the greatest respect, for it to be global, only the Jewish people understood the secret of keeping Shabbos.